Back in regular session, March 29, 2018, Policy and Procedure Committee meeting. Next item on the agenda is setting the salaries for county clerk, treasurer, sheriff, and circuit clerk for fiscal years 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. Is there a motion to set those salaries?
I move that we set it at a 2% increase.
2% each year?
Each year.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Barron.
Yes.
Sills.
Yes.
Signat.
Yes.
Short.
Yes. Okay, next item on the agenda is discussion and action on Illinois municipal auditing law. This is something that we brought up at the last meeting, and it looks like, and looking at it further, it's something that we probably shouldn't do unless there's somebody on the committee that thinks so. This seems to apply more to townships and municipalities. But we were sent this by UCCI asking us to send a letter to the state comptroller objecting to it. And since it doesn't apply to us, I guess it's my feeling we shouldn't be doing that, but I defer to the committee. If you want to see what the letter is, why it's on the second page.
Well, if it's affecting more for the township government, for the township government, have we heard any complaining about it? Is township government even aware of it?
Not very. Yeah, I
haven't heard anything from anybody on it, but that doesn't mean it necessarily mean anything either.
I think they're all aware of it, because the biggest thing is, it needs, make sure the information, I would assume how the township government state organization works, they're all quite aware of it. But no action at this point.
That's fine with me. It's whatever the committee wants to decide to do, we'll do it.
Well, all they're asking for us to send a letter, right? Which is not going, I mean, there's... I think it would mean more coming from the townships themselves than from us.
I'm sure you're probably correct. In fact, we don't have a dog in the fight, so why should we be fighting? If we have townships that want us to fight for them, they've had more than enough time to say something. I haven't been able to go to the township board meetings in my township because I have to go to county board meetings the same night.
Well, you won't have that excuse this month.
Not this one.
That's right.
For the next 6. We got a long day left.
I would say just take no action.
Okay.
no action.
Okay. We'll let that one go. Next is appointments. Appointments. My intention is to appoint Charlie Ault to the 911 board effective April 1st, and also to bring before the next board committee meeting the appointment of Robert Yerger to the supervisor of assessments position. At the moment, I don't know of any other appointments other than what routine ones might come before through Brian. That's where we're at with appointments.
Sounds like a great idea.
Who's coming off the 911 board?
Nobody.
Oh, it's just a reappointment. Okay.
There will be people coming off that board later in the year, pending the outcome of the November election, but right now it looks like there'll be 2 positions that'll be opening up. So that is something we probably need to start keeping our eyes and ears open now for individuals to fill those positions. Okay, next is correspondence. Pass around the first one here. This one is from the Jim Edgar Fellows Program. What they're asking us to do is to find out if there's somebody here that wants to participate in the Edgar Fellows Program. There's a description of it. The deadline for nominations is Friday, April 13th. So I'll pass that around. If there's anybody here that is interested in that, they need to let me know so we can handle that accordingly. Next is a report that I received from the ARC regarding some of their activities. Pass that around. Stuff that just came this morning. CCI.
Oh, yeah, once you're governor, you're always governor. You always have that, vice president, senator, anything, you always, you have that title for life.
Illinois Extension.
What?
No report. That's the correspondence that came from them. Then we come to a letter from an outfit called Microgrid Energy. It's addressed to the county board. It says, your parcels of land adjacent to the nearby substation is an ideal location for our solar array. The flat land with its proximity to the distribution grid is optimal for solar development. The parcel we would like to pursue further is listed below. It's the county farmland right south of the courthouse. That may be something we want to discuss at next Monday's meeting.
Well, we can bring it up, but the agenda's already,
Bring it up under new business.
yeah.
I don't believe that county farmland is available for sale or lease at the present time anyway, so.
No, not for a couple of years.
So,
Now, how long it takes for them to do anything, to set anything up, we don't know.
it's for information primarily. I don't think, I haven't read it that carefully. You can look at it and see if we're required to respond to it. I mean, other than we can respond and say we received it and that kind of thing, but I mean, I'm not looking for any decision right now. That's the envelope that came in. Maybe we want to keep it all together. I guess the other thing that I was interested in had to do with the Edgar Fellows Program. I'm not really familiar with it. It looks like some people in politics have gone through it. We can distribute it to other board members, I guess, and Amanda can send it out if there's any other board members interested in it. But
with what I just read.
Anybody have time to participate in it? Anybody want to be governor of Illinois? Okay, next is the claims. Bring your claims forward, Eric.
Mr. Raymond. Claims? Oh, wrong Eric, I guess. Sorry. My claims go to your other word. Sorry.
Like I said, these are not strictly EMA claims, but disaster claims. So here we have claim a bill from Hiltz Portable Sanitation for 4 porta potties. These 4 claims are for animal control. Separately, here is one for dog cages that have to be purchased, and these 3 are for personnel time. One is also for personnel travel. It's all mapped out by Dr. Youssef.
Porta potties, good investment there.
Saying they, you didn't want to use the word.
Well, the traditional cook and gutter system, designed for that type of thing. It's not too keen.
I guess, all right.
I could try to answer any questions, but in the end, I didn't type that up. I just typed up the claim form.
These are all claims that associated with the flood would be covered under the emergency declaration that we're under right now, in which the chairman has the power to pay these bills, but I prefer to run through the committee. Some of it's already been discussed, like the additional time that was spent out at the shelter by animal control personnel as well as Dr. Youssef's personnel. The cages that he had to buy to accommodate the animals out there.
Yeah, I didn't see any snake cages on there or anything like that.
As far
He
as,
does get big table jars for those.
as far as the cages, it was asked at the board meeting, where are those cages, who owns them, where are they stored? Because that'll be brought up, I'm sure.
Inventory control, you're talking about?
Yeah, that might be something to find out.
Sure, I recommend talking to Dr. Youssef about that. If the county pays that bill, then that's county property.
Not that we have any place to store it.
Finally, this is the bill for all the PPE. In discussion, we have not finalized who's going to pay for this, perhaps a split bill, but this is the claim for it.
I would prefer that we hold off on that one
Yes, sir.
until we have that discussion. We could even make a case for some of these others in that these are the activities that primarily benefited the residents of the city. And should the city participate in the cost of those things?
You could ask for that. I definitely do not speak for the city.
How is that handled when the county goes in and does something for a village or city now? Who pays what?
Well, I think there's some gray areas there that are, each situation probably is unique unto itself. And so I think in this case, every one of these claims provided some measure of benefit to the city, perhaps more to the city than the county. By the same token, I'm sure the city will tell you they're strapped for cash the same way we are. So it's a matter of, what we think we should be doing with these. The people for whom these services were contracted, I approved getting the portable potties. Eric asked me about that. animal cages, I guess that was something that Dr. Youssef went ahead and did on his own in order to meet the needs of the moment. There wasn't time to contact me or whatever.
I will say on the animal cages, he did talk to me just prior to getting the cages. The particulars of that situation where we had cages in line to be donated, they would have arrived around, I don't know, 5:30 p.m. that day, but he was literally standing there. And what he told me, he was literally standing at the shelter with dogs that just got dropped off that he had no cages for. So he was in a pinch.
Right.
So
So I think, I think it's a situation where things have to happen quickly, and you can't go through the normal channels to determine whether you can do them or not. So once you've done them, now the question comes about as to whose responsibility is it to pay for all of them. And like I said, you can make an argument that the city maybe should bear part of the cost. I don't know, but if that's it, again, I'm interested in the feelings of the committee.
At this point, we have liabilities that we created that we need to pay them. I move that we pay these bills.
Okay?
Once they're paid, what are
Well,
our chances?
let's either second the motion or not, but then we can discuss it.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, now we can discuss it.
Okay, if we pay them, are our chances of collecting from the city worse?
Possibly.
Because they'll say you've already taken care of it, you don't cost for it.
I mean, you can counter that and say the next flood we won't do it. Where does that leave you? I mean, there's a spirit of cooperation that has to exist, and if without that, obviously you can have all sorts of problems. And heretofore, I'm not aware that there's been any lack of that spirit, but by the same token, Mayor Allhands has another job that he has to go to work every day, so I'm not able to talk with him really with the frequency that I would like.
Now, this stuff comes out of your budget?
It comes out of the general fund.
This comes out.
It comes in the general fund,
This is
and-
emergency money that we approve, so.
And
It's
in
over and above
discussion-
anything was budgeted.
in discussion with Anita, on paper, it looks like it'll have to come out of my budget or somebody's budget because it has to be put underneath a line item.
Right.
But yes, it's general fund money, something like that.
Unbudgeted general fund money.
Just for number's sake, extracting this one, which we're going to discuss later, comes to a total of $2,471.66 for the claims that you are currently looking at.
That's not
Still
including the
billing on
personal.
the table, is it just not gonna get paid?
Excuse me?
Is that billing on the
Yeah,
table just not gonna
I
get
thought
paid?
we was
This
improving
is
all that.
Fastenal.
I know what that is.
Yes.
I'm asking, is that just not going to get paid?
Chairman asked me to discuss this with them after the meeting.
Wait a minute, wait. What was that? Okay,
I'm
tell me,
sure
don't want that
that not
bill to
paying the
come in
bill
front
to
of us?
them would impact the health department in the future, because not paying the bill to them would mean that if we have a public health emergency disaster where we have to mass prophylax the county, we're not going to be able to get them to send us things if we're not paying our bills.
May I look at that bill?
I believe
That's
that
a concern.
I believe that this claim will be paid. We have had discussions, Chairman and I have had discussions, and Dee and I have had discussions about where exactly the costs, how these costs will be paid, whether they could be split between different entities. It is a large bill for roughly $3,500 for some necessary PPE equipment. I believe this claim will be paid.
Well,
It's
yes,
just,
it
we
will.
want to work out the details of who will pay how much. Correct? Mr. Chairman?
Well, that's correct. I think it's a situation where we need to sit down. I need to sit down with the city and talk about this. I mean, I don't think that the whole burden of this should fall upon us now. If we want to go ahead and pay the bills and then talk to the city and see if we can get reimbursed for a portion of it, that's fine. I'm willing to do that and so forth, but
Now,
to me, it's not a financial responsibility that the county county should bear alone. That's my position or thinking on the matter.
This is disaster-related stuff where decisions had to be made in minutes a lot of times. You don't have a lot of options. We need to pay it and we'll deal with the issue later.
Well, now you're saying like that one split with the city, it was mostly health department related stuff?
No,
No.
the health department
What was,
did agree
Is
to
it
pay
for
if,
mucking
no,
out?
it was
Eric,
from,
that's not,
okay.
sorry, yes ma'am,
that's something for me to discuss with.
yes ma'am.
So I guess, what was this product for?
This was personal protective equipment for muckout crews.
Okay. So it wasn't, I mean, it was health related, but it wasn't health related, correct?
All right, the deal of it came to this. Eric needed that for those knockout crews.
Yeah.
You cannot send people into homes with water that's infected with E. coli and other things without personal protective equipment. That's not even
Right.
reasonable. He asked, if the county refuses to pay this bill, will the health department cover it? Because we gotta have it. And I told him yes. So now that that cat's out of the bag, I'm sure that the health department's gonna, so just hand me the bill.
No, that's not the
But
case.
it shouldn't be the health department's
That's not
responsibility.
the case at all.
This is disaster-related action. It
Right.
needs to be in one area so we can go back and take it later. If you start spreading around between a bunch
Right.
of departments, it's gonna be very tough to sort it out 6 months down the road.
The issue in my mind is if the city is gonna participate in the cost of these, and that's it, period.
Well, and I guess if it would be okay to amend your motion,
Yeah, I thought it included.
well, no, to pay the bills and then pursue repayment of portion by the city
Or other entities.
or other entity that might be responsible for it. Which, I don't know if there's any state money that you could get or probably not.
Yeah, you don't know, it depends on what percentage and how many this happened, whatever.
Unfortunately, I will say that parts of these costs, not everything, but a couple of these are part of the public assistance program. But as I discussed earlier in my email report, I'm not expecting reimbursement from that from the federal government. I don't think the state's going to meet their numbers, so I was going to pursue that avenue. And I'll still do my due diligence, but it's not going to go ahead.
How do our costs to this flood compare to previous floods?
In the previous floods that I have been the coordinator, this is more costs.
Did you have a wait?
I did not have a wait.
Oh, okay.
I had the two floods in 2015, and in those costs we accumulated, I don't remember the numbers, this is one.
015 number.
I guess my question is if this is obviously something, a fairly regular event, something we probably, instead of fighting over it now, needs to be in a budget to have a contingency fund for it. I mean, it's too late now, but for next year, something to look at.
Flood contingency, is that what you're saying?
Well, if we're dealing with some type of disaster, flooding every year, every other year, it would make sense to have some kind of money set aside for it. If we don't use it, great.
I think it will be looked at, because there's some people that's gonna make a lot of noise. Once, this is just taking care of the emergency situation right now. I think it's finally highlighted, there's a real problem hiding out there that needs to be addressed. And I think eventually, even though there's gonna be a lot of politicians run and hide, the problem will get addressed. Because there will be bridges blown up, railroads took out, water needs to stop it. Because people are tired of losing their personal lives, because what was high ground at one time is no longer high ground from actions from other people. They made money off of it though. Yeah.
Okay, do you want to amend your motion to include these?
I want to, the disaster, do you have any more disaster-related ones that you're setting on?
What is currently in that pile is all the disaster-related claims that I have.
That's, I want to
And
include
don't
the
anticipate anymore.
I do
muck
not at
out,
this time
Fastenal
anticipate any more.
bill.
Leaving the possibility for it, but I don't
I wanna keep these disaster bills all together. I don't want them bouncing in different little departments, because I wanna see the real numbers. And when you shove it in different departments, you end up hiding the numbers.
Is there a second to the amendment?
Who seconded that?
I made my amendment, or did he
Motion.
amend it?
It was my motion, I amended, or did you amend it?
I don't care who
No,
amended
it was my motion, I got amended, so I amended it.
I know you did, I'm asking if there's a second.
Now, restate your amendment, please.
Restate the amendment. Well, so we had a motion, and now we're amending the motion to add the Fastenal bill for, let's use the dollar amounts. 3505 for the muck out necessary product,
The total is gonna be almost $6,000.
about $6,000. The $57 is duct tape.
And pursue the,
I know it's for.
and pursue, getting,
Cooperative efforts.
okay. I will second that.
Is there any further discussion? Miranda, would you call the roll, please?
Aaron,
Yes.
Bills,
Yeah.
Sipmat,
Yes.
Sure.
Yes. Okay, is there any old business this morning? Any new business? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.